I made 7 figures in my career as a software developer, which actually wasn't that long. Most companies or colleagues that I work with, they assume that I have some 10 to 20 years of experience, which technically isn't possible because I'm still 27 years old. And at the same time, there are developers in the market who have more than 10 years of experience, and they are complaining that the market is not fair, that they cannot land roles, they are searching for a new role for months or even years and cannot find it. So in this video, I'll show you how I made over 7 figures from my software engineering career by positioning myself correctly, and how I have never been unemployed throughout my whole career by understanding the game and the market. You've probably been told that age equals experience, and experience is what equals the salary, the pay that you are getting. That is the way that all jobs were working. Of course, if you had 10 years of experience, you would get more than someone who has 1 year of experience, but it's not the same in the software engineering market. Age actually has nothing to do with your experience. I would define experience as repeated exposure to environment, meaning the more environments you've seen, the more projects you have worked on, the more experience you have. If we take 2 developers, and one of them, let's say, has experience of working on the same project for 10 years, and on the other side you have another developer who has experience working on 10 projects in 10 years. Who you think has the most experience? Of course, the second guy, because he has worked with more types of industries, he has seen more types of tech stack implemented in production systems. He has more experience than the guy who has the exact same years under the belt, but he has just seen one system, and he's probably a mid-level developer because he is just doing the same stuff over and over in his 10th year as he was doing in the first year. Since you're watching this video, you probably already have years of experience in development, but you don't feel deep down confident in your skills, and that is because you know that there are things that you should know but you don't, and that is the reason why you don't get paid as much as you deserve. So to be able to get paid 6 or multi-6 figures, you first need to get more exposure to different types of environments, not just the one project that you're working or the 2 or 3 projects that you have worked in your whole career. And for that, first of all, you need the fundamental concepts to land more roles and work on different kinds of systems. Like, you need the system design fundamentals, you need the interviewing and positioning fundamentals, you need to see some production systems in action on how they work, so that you can also talk about this in interviews. And based on that, you will also get the necessary mindset, because you need to feel confident that you deserve the job. If you don't feel that you deserve the high paid salaries and best roles, then the company that is recruiting you, they also feel that you don't deserve the job. And once you have the necessary skills, then it comes to choosing the top or right companies to work for. I had this limiting belief in my early years that to be able to get paid the 6 or multi-6 figures and the remote lifestyle, you need to work for FAANG companies. I thought that I need to work for Meta, for Google, but the reality turned out to be way different than it is. At this point, I have worked with already, I would say, 15 companies, probably 15 different projects, and none of them are from big tech. So you probably won't even realize the names if you hear about them, but these are like AI startups or new startups that are paying way more even than the FAANG companies, because they are looking for someone experienced and they know they don't have the same prestige as in the FAANG companies. So instead they have to pay you more, and they have to give you the remote lifestyle so that you work for them instead of working for FAANG companies. So working for big tech, of course, it's an option, but it's not the only option. And in my opinion, the second option is way better, because you get to work fully remotely, which is the lifestyle I prefer, and you still get the same salary, if not more, in case you're working with fresh AI startups that have a big funding from the investors. And now if I think back, the very first company, for example, was the shittiest company that I worked with ever. And if I was just like most other developers, and I stayed with the same company, same project till this day, I would still be the same, I would say, junior developer, just with more years of experience working on the same legacy code base, and with the worst company that was paying the least, and it was micromanaging, and I had to do 10-hour work days for them just to satisfy the deadlines. So changing your company more often also helps you realize what are the best companies that you would prefer to work with. And I know there might be some concern in your mind that what if you change the role and you don't satisfy the next company and you get fired. And I also felt the same when switching the first few companies. I thought like, what if the current role that I got was by a luck and the next role I won't be able to prove myself and I might get fired and left with no job at all. But this made me also grind for the new role to satisfy the needs, and what I realized over time is that all the roles are basically the same and they are using the same fundamental knowledge, which is the system design, the production architectures, and the same concepts which if you master in few of your roles, you will basically be able to do any kind of project. Doesn't matter the tech stack, doesn't matter their current setup, almost variations of the same thing, just in a different industry and in a different setup. And because I was willing to take the risk instead of just staying average, because that was what was comfortable for me, now in my last month I made more than I made the first year as a developer. So that is really what you can unlock if you take the risk instead of staying comfortable in your current role. And if you think it's time for you also for a change and you are looking to switch your career for a better company with a better pay and you'd like my help along the process, then you can check out the first link in the description, which will be the link to apply to join the mentorship program, where we help people get from mid-level to senior roles within 6 months.